So just like every day, today with a different kind of setup. Probably I will opt for this one. It makes much more sense. I receive advice from people and also reading myself on video making stuff. We can have this. So the main things I'm trying to share here is you wanna do business in whatever country, you're gonna have good stuff you have to learn, bad and unfortunate things you have to learn. Or sometimes when you have someone to guide you through all of that, you're gonna spend a few time of struggle to overcome the whole thing. But if you take time to hard the hard way with discipline and focus, you're gonna find out yourself on the right track. But you know, it won't happen for everybody to have enough discipline and focus on what you're trying to do. Because there is a lot of beautiful things in the world we want to have, We all have needs of beautiful cars. We want to have beautiful kids or beautiful woman. We want to have marriage. Some people want to stay single. It's cost money, but you want to make sure it's part of your plan. What are you trying to achieve? So make sure that you have your priority well prioritized. So that's what makes the whole difference. So actually, I'm trying to put an end on what I haven't shared here for a while. And the sharing of all of this is to make sure that we can share our experience at some point, but here mostly it's a call for you to come for action so we can meet up here on social media. And when I say, I will repeat it all the time, we can meet inbox. It doesn't mean that I ask you to see me physically. I don't know who you are first. I don't necessarily know your name. I have been watching or having the privilege of seeing a lot of pictures online my whole life since I'm a kid, from the normal paper photo I have seen until now. I have got a big bank of photo. It's just the problem that I don't remember all of them. So it happens that I can see your picture on social media. We can have a talk on social media. If you have been fruitful or not, we gotta have a schedule to remember, we have tools, agenda, we have contact name set up. We got to have a schedule. So you tell me what you want, and I know what you want, and you know what I can provide you. And at the end, we have a schedule. And when we have a schedule, we can put things in place to work according to the schedule. So I will repeat one more time based on what I did before I said previously, and I take time to explain all the kind of things about schedule. But the main point here is to talk about the CEO program for students or people of ideas or people of business trying to put it to the next stage. You need advices, there's a lot of startup and creator, doing great or sometimes just not. And with the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, you're gonna get much more worse. And I've seen students getting involved with their own energy, which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing working on startups, but I don't know how is the registration. The first thing, you're a student, you have the F1 or whatever LOM visa you do have to come to study in the United States of America. Just like going to study to another country, you have to remember something. Whatever you try to do different than that, you have ways to have documents that are moving from this to this, and then you're gonna have document back. In other words, there is a basic things you can do. When you work, whatever is the startup or a regular business job or a regular scheduled job, you have to file a file in I-9. If you never file that file, whatever you work for startup or not, you are necessarily not working. If it's a non-profit, I never had a non-profit my whole life. I tried to start some, but I was working alone, I didn't hire people. I don't know if they have I-9 involvement too. But as far as I remember, it's a volunteer-based position, so they don't have necessarily to pay you. You know, if it's a startup volunteer, you're still a student, you never change anything. Don't pretend. Whatever country you go, make sure you don't pretend things, but you do have precisely or actually the things you are talking about. So there is visa, and there is something like the name statutes. Uh, Citizenship is a statute in the United States of America. There is a work statute. People then that when they come in, the HB based visa, by the time they have a social security number limited for work, social security for work only, and they use that social throughout, or sometimes not, an agreement for sometimes non-compete, and other one for exclusivity. I don't know how they name it legally. There is a name for that. So that's mean you can't work for the company different than the one who hire you. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes not. It can be a long relationship with you and that company, a lifetime relationship. Some company don't want to leave you. Probably I heard it's not legal advice I'm giving to you. I heard like it's out of 5 years you can apply for citizenship through the sponsoring of the company. It's out of sponsoring. Reason why they ask on forms, do you need for sponsoring or not? If you have a social security with no limitation, there is social security like mine. I have social security. There is nothing right on it. It's unlimited social security. I can work, I can study, I can do whatever I want with it. Not anything illegal. When I say whatever I want, illegal is not part of it. Because illegal things doesn't just mean your paperwork for visa. It means a lot of things. You act illegal, you're doing illegal things, you're keeping illegal things, you're acting illegal. Those kind of things are legal. So you gotta have that in head. And the CEO program is just like you wanna do business because first you have an idea. But you are in the United States with a statute with no involvement of developing that idea. It can be a visitor-based statute, like that you have that idea to try to put in place, and didn't figure out how to get in by that idea, because sometimes you have the idea but you don't have the money, and you come to the United States of any country with different kind of ideas. Sometimes you want to reach people on pleasure time, kind of vacation, but you take time to reach people, even if you have a pleasant, you have a visa for pleasure, it doesn't stop you to talk to an investor. No, it doesn't prevent you to pitch your idea. Yes, you don't have any things stopping you doing that, and then maybe switching to something else after going back and forth. You can pitch it, someone like it, and sign the paperwork. It's now a contract, and the contract, whatever contract you have, is not nothing when everything exists. The business exists, there is your name, contract between X and Y. It's now something interesting for any country. For what reason? That contract comes from a taxpayer entity, a business. So they were not interested. And trying to do another business for more tax involvement, it's always good for the county, it's always good for the state, it's always good for the federal government. So that is something you can't stop, When it happens to be a contract and money is involved and money will be moving from a place to another one, there is tax involved. And if there is tax involved, it's good for the government. So they can grant you any statutes you need to make that work. They can give you any filing you need for that to make works. And the filing exists. Sometimes they don't have to give you. You have found it, and you will find it because nothing's hidden. The IRS.gov website is available for all of us. It's for you just to go and find and grab what you want. But what I'm trying to tell you here, you don't have ways to open a business. How to have that way? Sometimes you have parents. I will give like community here, like Chinese community, a lot of big presence of Asian people. You can go to Chinatown, probably gonna find someone doing business and matching your statues. But if you don't find out, you still having us here, we can work together in that direction. And I'm saying about us because I'm in tech. I have a lot of certification and specialization in tech, starting by medical-based certification like genomics, clinical trial, epidemiology, and you name it, IT, and even my level of taxes is all listed in LinkedIn. You can see those kind of people. You have much more leverage than going to someone who have more to deal with his business because you don't have time to answer your question. You can open your business, it's not really on tax stuff because you have an accountant, because when you do business you don't do accounting necessarily, because people feel like when you do business you have to be genius at everything. Sometimes you just need to be good at managing your time and well assess who have to handle a part of your whole work, and then that's it. You don't have to be genius. Some people say like to be businessman you can even be an idiot, can succeed. I don't really believe that 100% because I used to say that nobody is idiots in every kind of fields. You can be idiot at math, but you're good at comedy. You can be idiot at comedy, but you're good at math, And a lot of comedians make a great living doing one-man show. A lot of comedians do a great job playing movies and having big budget movies, and it works for them to make a great living because they take it serious. And they even businessmen, they are brains, they are a lot of things they do. So what I'm trying to say, you can't just be an idiot of everything. You have a field where you really have it high at the skills level. That's what I'm trying to say here. So reason why I don't believe that we all idiot at everything or genius at everything. You just have to find out what is your thing, and you need that something to make something. That's what makes sense. So I will go back to the CEO program. The CEO program is you can't, because of your statute, register a business, but to have an idea and really believe you can make it in US. Sometimes you can make it elsewhere, so you won't need me. You just have to travel back at that place. But if you feel that you can work in US and have a planning, whatever starting planning or certain kind of planning, not a joke, seriously, I'm telling you, you can succeed anywhere you want. You just need seriousness, a planning, and a direction for your idea. I'm coming here because of different kind of reasons. I have experience in different kind of field. I have experience dealing with different kind of person across the country and even overseas. That's what I can put on the table, and I know how to file your business, whatever form you want. I know what advices I can give you before starting the form you want to put in place, and I can advise you on what you can face going to this direction right or the other direction left. So that's what we put in place. Probably based or out of an agreement, we decide if you can pay for this whole registration or not. But you gotta know something, business is not free. That's where my part is getting paid. So we're gonna agree on a percentage of what will be mine on the business and what will be yours on the business. The things is that the bottom line, I'm not the one who's gonna make your business. I wanna form it, so giving the statute whatever corporation is, LLC, I wanna advise you which kind of state work for what you're trying to do. And I'm gonna give you a direction or refer to other kind of people or entities you have to talk to, and I can even help you to translate their lingo, because when you talk tax, we talk money in US, even different country, they have a lingo they use. Sometimes it don't really have anything to have in what you know in English. It's just like I want to give you a joke. When we talk, for instance, in real estate or any charges in US, when you commit a fraud, and they want you to pay something, most people will say they give you a fee. No, they give you a fine. A fine is a fee, but for penalty. A fee is a charge to file something. I want to file for birth certificate, I need to pay a fee. It's a charge because I have to file for the form to receive the paper certificate back. But I commit a violation. I have a violation and I have to pay for something looking like a fee. It's not a fee, it's a fine. That's just an example I can give you. Another example is just like when you have $2,000. All the people in business don't tell the people $2,000. They will tell you 20 grand, 2000. Yes, it's 2000 or 2400. That's what 2,400. So if you don't pay attention, you can hand over $20 giving to the person. It happened to a lot of people, just like a joke. You say 2,500, you take $25, you give to the guy. You say, what I do? I say 2,500, but I give you 25. No, 2,500 means 2,400. It's a lingo you can't get if you don't get involved in business around here in the US. And there's a lot more things you can have, grants and so on. So you have to ask for translation all the time you hear things. But I know people like to assume things. The reason why I don't guess anything in my life. I don't assume things in my life. I don't like supposition. And I ask questions. Probably in statistics I like extrapolation or I don't know, forecasting or those kind of things. Yes, that makes sense because I'm doing an analysis in my office based on some kind of data set I do have or data from I don't know, whatever I do have. I'm trying to work it out to try to see what will be a return in 20 or whatever years I'm assessing. That makes sense to study. But when it comes to dealing with people, try to make sure that what we are talking about, the contract, what is written in it, if you don't agree with someone, there is one thing you have to do. Don't just agree and give what make you to agree to any term you intend to sign, even if it's right. You find some line you don't really get what it is asking thousands of times because you gotta sign something, you gotta pay. You don't want to be passive at that. So you need to be an active subject on the discussion. So that's what I can advise you. Those are example, 3 examples. I say contract, I say 2,000 or 40 or 400. Those problem can have numbers, and also the last first I give you on starting. You gotta learn the lingo. You gotta learn how to deal with people. You gotta learn the difference between things, whatever their charges, like I say, fee, fine, and so on. Those things make difference. And there is a joke somewhere, you are now fine. So I'm now fine, that's cool. But you gotta pay the fine. It's a joke. So it means just you pay to be fine. That's what I was thinking. It just like the guy was joking probably, I don't know. You can have a different understanding of different things. So make sure you have the right one. So just to try to sum up the things, you need someone with level of seriousness. You can assess yourself. Reason I like discussion with people, whatever is just on Zoom, whatever is on our team, any software we can use on video call like Facebook. Doesn't really matter for me. It doesn't really mind for me because what I want is to see you and to talk to you, and you can talk to me. If there is no exchange, it doesn't really make sense. So if you want it, it's good. You can call me, but we have to take an appointment. You can send me a message inbox, whatever social media you have. You can try my name on LinkedIn. It's all available. We can talk about business. We can exchange. We can do things seriously because I like serious person first. So my advice is just like send me a message. We're gonna exchange. We're gonna talk. I just don't like people who want them to be poor mindset. We all have issues in this world, and I even have a lot of person I know who are financially poor, but who are getting richer, who are sometimes already rich now. But financially poor for me is not people poor mindset. financially poor person is just a stage in their life. They lose their job, they lose an income, they make a mistake on business. They financially poor at some point, but they're not poor mindset people. I'm gonna give you an example. You know, I've seen in Facebook here a lot of people putting the picture of the back, the old underwear out. It's really interesting way of doing social media, and I can't understand everybody intent of doing that, but you can't just live like you don't see it, But people do that way, do their things that way for a reason. Probably they have money out of it, probably they make a living out of it. I don't judge them because social media is all open. It's all about freedom of speech, We have that amendment uh, on our pocket, if I have to say that, But just know that the freedom someone has hand up where the freedom of yourself starts, So we have to know those kind of limit. But what I'm trying to do, just you can do things differently because that is really too low scrutiny action or activity sometimes. Your body is for you, for your privacy or a kind of intimacy is yours. We don't necessarily have to see it. We are looking for things, all of us, in this world, but that kind of things you can do differently. But I don't judge people. Just to give you some time, some kind of things can be really low the scrutiny level, So that's what then those people are not really financially poor, but the action is really a low scrutiny action. But you have kids, you have brothers and sisters. I don't know how you have to be doing that. I don't know if they talk to you. Sometimes you just don't care. You just have to take some smoke and it all forgotten. That's life. We all have ways to deal with life, and we even have all issues to solve in this world, and this is probably one of the issue those kind of people have to solve. But I don't want to deal with that. I want to talk to you about business. You don't send me a picture of your back. It doesn't really make sense to me. So do that with someone willing to have that. There is things you don't have to spend a lot of time if you want to see them. There is specialized website if you want to see back of people. If you want to see some certain kind of people with no clothing, that's not really the right way. I think to deal with things. Someone try to talk to you, to socialize, or to do business, to send me some stupid picture. You can do that elsewhere. Just like I said, it is specialized website to do that. So the program is simple. You have ideas. You, a student, have the idea. You can be a kid or a young person who never been even at school, but you have ideas. You have just questions. Sometimes it's just for session for question, and then you're gonna fade away. You won't start any business. It's not a problem, but knowing what to do also drive more interest on the pathway, and then you can do the question going back home talking to your parent. Sometimes I can give you that advice. I can give you a lot of canvas. I can give you a lot of answers. I can give you something to read online, but I can even ask you to try to talk to your parent about it, what they think. If you start a business tomorrow about this and this and this, they can be the right fit to give you some kind of advice before starting. So those things are available for you, but because I have seen a lot of things, startup community doing good things, but sometimes when you don't really see what is startup registration all about. What kind of startup registration they do have. A website is not enough. You need some kind of structure, and probably I feel to be part of. Probably you have a company, and that company do have a part of research and development, and they can put you in, and you have resources from that research and development side of the company. Or sometimes it's a non-profit. That means you come as a non-profit person, so you have to be registered as a volunteer. There is system to register a volunteer person. I don't know where, because based on causes you have to defend, they have a kind of credit they have to receive from hours they have been passing. Because myself, I try to do some kind of things like that way, by trying to give some IT-based advices to people. I guess it was in New York, and I went for different session schedule, and they have got different person coming with question. I received people who's trying to purchase fix in Amazon. They didn't know how to do that, and I helped them to open account. The most basic things you can do. They sometimes hold people, rarely the young, because young know how to solve those kind of things fast and forward. Sometimes they watch a bunch of YouTube video, or they have other kids with those kind of high, way of fast and forward handling this kind of problem. But I have received a lot of people, and I went for taxis services after that. So for the elderly and also for low income family. So what I'm trying to say on the table, like you have credit scheduled on non-profit too, but you have to be registered as a volunteer. But you gotta know something: when you volunteer, you really volunteer. You're not working. You don't have I-9 and you don't have wage. No, it's volunteer. So you have a certain kind of statute to give it that. I think when it comes to US, if you're a US citizen, you can do volunteer anytime you want, you can do anything you want, but the best way is to work, work still available. But if you come from overseas, at least you have to have maybe one at a time. It give you that way to do volunteer, not the pleasure B2 at a time. I don't know if they changed the reservation. Actually, everything's are going on upgrade, because B2 is pleasure, B1 is not pleasure, it's business. It's just like pleasure, but it's visit and visit. Visit for pleasure, visit for business for B1. So those kind of things can make differences. Or you can come with E, E1, E2, or whatever. Those are, if I'm not wrong, investor, staff, and then you have HP for work, but you gotta find attachment with the company want to hire you, and the process is advanced, and they can testify to the embassy in your country. But the best thing, if you want to work with us, what we recognize is not to be outside, is you already inside and you want to make things work. You have ideas. I don't want to know about your ideas, but I want to know about the part of your idea where I have to act. It's mostly business registration, business part, and also tax advice and business-based advices. If you want to build a rocket to go to the moon, it's not really my business. It's yours. No, you have an entire theory about your vision. It's good. You can keep it for you. You can give me a glitch of it, just for me to understand what you're trying to do. But it's not really I don't want to put my head on all those stuff. You have the right mindset to go through. You will hire the right people to do so. So let's put things in place. Registration. Which state you think match you? I don't know. Okay, I can advise you. Based on this company I have been studying, they do the same thing like you. This what I can recognize you. How I have to go back for study all the company I know, because we have access to find out company doing the same thing that you, and study why they located on this and this place rather than this and this place. You gotta find out legislation, you gotta find out laws, you gotta outline what match your needs and what will help you make more profit, because I have a part in your business. I wanna make profit too. So that's how it works. So the benefit of that is multifold. It's just for you to be clear. If you don't agree with me, tell me why. We can size or resize things. That's how business works. Don't be shy, don't be shamey, don't scare someone. I'm not trying to hit you. I have two high C's just like you. I have a mouth and a nose, nostrils. We pretty not different. We could be having different color. That's the only difference we can have. But sometimes we don't. Because at the end, the color of what matter at that time is the color of the dollar bills you're gonna have in pocket. That's what matters. You wanna make money, I wanna make money too. That's what matters. That's the center side of the deal. So tax advices on business, registration, formation, and cycle guidance or research on field to make sure that you register on the right state to take advantage of the right legislation. That's how we can guide you. But from far around, remember, like there is a lot of free trade with different countries, so you can spread your influence if your business is successfully implemented in US to different country, at least 20 free trade based company. You know, it's a great things for a lot of business to do so if you successfully do your things on work well, in your work, in your action plan is going according to your business plan and everything look great, even if we know we still having things to adjust at certain time to have more and more profit. So because you don't want to stop your, just like doing boxing, you're about to win and you start stopping punching at the wrong time. No, you don't have to keep punching to make sure that the guy is going KO and then you have the winning. And at that time, the guy is just a big bag full of dollar bills. You have to punch to take out those dollar bills out of the box, you have to punch the box. So it's not someone who's really punching out there. It's gonna be damaging. So at the end, that's what we intend to have at the end to make profit. It's not all about non-profit around here, but if you do have idea to do one profit, I don't know how it's gonna make money. It's not something I can do actually, but I can give you advice at that time. You're gonna pay me for the advice, but non-profit is something people do too much and mostly end up to be lacking a lot of seriousness, because of one reason. When people do non-profit is because they're scared for profit. I mean business first, and they try to escape taxes, and they scare. It's non-profit, there is no profit. I mean there is no taxes. Yes, non-profit do have tax if they step up certain kind of requirement, like threshold of gain, because it's for profit. Why are you making gain? So at some threshold, they're gonna ask you for certain kind of taxes. That's something you have to know. But if you want to know business, carrying yourself and going through a non-profit fast and forward, gonna sometimes damage just your planning, because it's happened at the end. You're gonna look for value. I've seen people doing for profit, doing people services and asking they want their money back. I was asking myself, why do you want your money back? You knew that it was a for profit you're gonna start. You are doing pretty good on courses by giving the staff. What money back do you want? At least you have to fight for grants from the government, but they are not consistent for the whole year service you have to provide to people. That glitch on it. So, on the hand, you're gonna do some strange things to have something even to support your own living. That and advice I'm gonna give you. Make money, go for a business if you can. If you can't, take time to grow your idea. You still have that leverage. I know you won't be young your whole life. You're gonna get old. That makes sense. I have some white hair in my head. My 30s, I'm getting back to my 12 years old time, that time is over. So I'm getting older and I'm gonna get much more older. So reason why I think at some age my life will be serious, probably less than my 20s, supporting myself with businesses, putting my head on different kind of situation to handle the money, being accustomed to the money, and don't be afraid to touch money. Some people when they have 1 million, they're now crazy. They want to buy everything. I want to give you just an example. Someone end up after win a lottery, like how we name that? Lottery, yes. He received 1 million that day. He said, I'm now king now, call his old friends. Let's go to Vegas. I don't know from where they come from, but they end up to Vegas. When they arrive to Vegas, the king is gone, he's there. So they all have tickets, you don't really know how much people come when you're gonna call that you have 1 million. Sometimes you have an entire neighborhood. I don't know how much the ticket costs. Probably at the ticket you can even finish the $1 million sometime if it happen. But they happen to go to Vegas on airplane, and then they take the royal suit to live there. They start hitting, they start asking for everything without asking any price. You see how dangerous it is to have money without no planning. You plan yourself to be a king without no planning. You haven't taken ticket, maybe paying for your old friends. You take the big suite in the hotel, whatever Luxor or whatever hotel you do have there. You start eating anything you want without even caring about pricing. Before the end of the year, the 1 million is gone, and even have debt to pay. I'm sorry. Planning is a good thing. Planning is something I advise every people starting business, and having someone who can help you in planning, provide you some certain kind of information like taxes, business registration, formation, uh, on-field based advices can change a lot of things to your business, front of your competitor, front of your marketplace, or anything you may have as obstacle on your way path to success. You know, think about it. I wish you to have a nice and wonderful day. As you may know, my name is RAY HERMANN ANGOSSIO LIWA. I'm a US federal tax professional and life coach with tax advices. And your life coach with tax advices if you want it. So just reach me out. When I say reach me out, don't come outside and try to worship me. Most of the time, it's scary because you don't really know who you're worshiping. Is it a robber? Is it whatever? I don't want to hand up or put you in such a kind of strange situation because I assess people a lot when they worship me for a lot of time, a long period of time. I can call the police. Just to avoid that, we can take an attachment. We have an appointment. You hand up in my agenda. I know that I have to see you on video, and you're not too far, or you can pay for a ticket, whatever you want. I can show up at the best of my ability. I'm not really someone who make it hard when it comes to business, but I'm gonna make it hard for the photo things I was talking about on YouTube. I don't wanna see your back. It's not useless for business, but I can make it for an appointment if you're willing to start a business, or if you're willing to have advices, to make it works. So we can start here on video, we can have a video call, we can have a video chat, we can have whatever secure things we don't have, we do have here. I'm pretty sure that all things are secure around here. But people killing a lot of certain kind of social media. We can use official like Zoom work well. We can go on LinkedIn. I publish a lot of video about technology I'm building. I have services to provide to people. You can bring everything about it. And the last one, I just finished working on the safe box. The safe box is a kind of intermediary layer system on your infrastructure for logging to avoid you meeting facing attack type Hydra. Hydra is a software can log in any password and username based platform without an intermediary platform. And we have got on the market a lot of platforms doing that intermediary things. We have Duo, and Duo have been purchased, by the way, by Cisco. We have a lot of them. ID me if I'm wrong, and a lot of platforms. And now you have SafeBox. And SafeBox have been created by myself, and it's based on different kind of technologies, but those technologies never been used for this kind of purpose. And I put things in place with decision tree, all kind of setup, to make it works with no database. That's what we're trying to put in place because it makes us reach our objective, eco-friendly software, because the less we use resources, the less you have impact on the environment, and the less also your equipment consume energy, the less also you energy efficient, so eco-friendly equipment. So I'm gonna wish you to have a nice and wonderful day, and for the next time we're gonna share maybe something else But for now, I was trying this setup to try to see what will be the difference based on those all video I have done before. Trying to get some professionalism on video because I'm not a video maker by starting. And let me know what you think about this new way of doing video and this presentation on comment. I would like that, and we would like also to talk to you at any time to exchange about business. So just try to avoid, please try to avoid that poor mindset side of the social network world. We can do things different, and there's things when there is time for everything. And there is also a kind of people for everything. So you can find the people match what you are trying to do. Like business, you have me. The other things I just don't know. So wish you to have a nice and wonderful day.